Great. Okay, good morning, everyone. We are excited to have our Michigan Early Literacy coaches from our ISDs and RESAs here with us today in this webinar. The focus is the Michigan eLibrary, and we are honored to have Christine Schneider to be able to share all of the resources and opportunities that are available to us as residents of Michigan and as educators in this great state. So today's going to be an excellent webinar with Christine. If you're just coming into our space, I invite you to introduce yourself in the chat by typing your name. And on a scale of 1 to 5, enter your number that would represent how familiar you already are with MEL.org. And so far we have several coaches and supervisors already in this webinar with a wide range of expertise around MEL.org. So we're really excited about how meaningful this webinar will be to us. So it's being recorded and we'll be able to access this at any time. Coaches, in our shared Google folder, we have our April monthly meetings folder, and we're taking notes right there. So no need to worry about if anything will be missed. No need to take notes now. If you want to just sit back and enjoy, all of the links to these slides and other notes will be in there, as well as this recording shortly after our time this morning. And I think it's time. I just want to remind you one more time that if you want to use the Q&A feature, that's a great place to type in an explicit question versus the chat, because the chat sometimes gets going pretty fast. So feel free to use that Q&A feature today, and Lisa Brown from Michigan Department of Education and I will be monitoring that. And without further ado, Lisa, would you please introduce our guest today?
Hello, everybody. I am very honored to introduce Christine Schneider to you today. She is a MEL K-12 education specialist. She's been with the Library of Michigan for about a year, and she is more than knowledgeable about these wonderful resources, and we cannot thank her enough to be able to come and speak to us today and just help those of us who may have already had some training, just refresh us, and for those of us that this is new, just really bring some great resources to the forefront. I'm happy to share that Christine does do some training of teachers and professional development, and maybe you've already seen her face in your region. So she's happy to connect with you, and her contact information is on the slide right now to further discuss some possible opportunities. So if there's something that catches your eye today and you want to talk more with Christine about that, she's more than happy to be there as a support. She's currently working on some handouts, other resources, slide decks, scavenger hunts to really bring these library materials to life, and she's passionate about supporting you as you support teachers with these resources. Just a reminder, there is a link in the Google document to her presentation today. So without further ado, we'd really like to welcome Christine, and we hope that you enjoy and find this very valuable.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Erin. I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to assume I did see everybody's responses there in the chat as to how familiar you are with MEL. And for those of you that had training a few years back, we've had a lot of improvements and a lot of upgrades. So I want to make sure, I'm just going to assume that we don't have very much knowledge. So if I'm repeating something you already know, I apologize ahead of time, but that's going to be kind of the aspect that I'm coming from. So the Michigan eLibrary is really an online library. So instead of going to your local public library, physical brick and mortar building, we have this online library, and it is very similar. It has all kinds of resources that you can access. So it is really, really amazing. We are actually a program of the Library of Michigan, which is part of the Department of Ed. And what we do is we provide electronic resources, many of which we have about 40 plus databases that are subscription databases that we purchase on behalf of the state, and everyone has access to that for free here in the state. What we do is we geo-authenticate IP addresses. So when you go to click into a resource, if your IP address is here in Michigan, you get free access immediately. You do not have a login screen. The way that we're funded with this $4 million that we purchased, it comes from the IMLS, which is the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and it's funded through the LSTA from Congress. So it's federal funding. And we also have additional funding support from the state of Michigan. But a bulk of this comes from IMLS. So if you hear about that in the news, really talk to your Congress people and fight for the IMLS so that we can maintain these great resources here in Michigan. The types of things that you will find are digital images, videos, all of the articles and ebooks. So I'm really excited to bring to you everything that we have to offer, at least related to early childhood today. When we think about the Michigan's Top 10 in 10 Years initiative, we should consider Michigan eLibrary as an important tool for that. Each of the goals, each of the 7 goals that are listed there with this initiative, we can support every single one of them. Basically, MEL it levels the playing field across the state, especially for our K-12s. It's providing resources to everyone. So whether we're in the richest districts or the poorest districts, everyone has access to the same information. And it is, everything that's there is really lifelong learning. So it starts with the little ones and goes all the way up through adult. So I'm sure you'll find a lot of information that would be helpful. Everything is accessible 24/7, and you can use any device. So you could even use a smartphone. One time I had a student in my English class wrote a research paper using just a smartphone. So it was very interesting. Very well done too, by the way. So I've already talked about the geo-authentication. We have, what you're going to want to focus on are 2 portals within MEL, and one is MEL Kids, which would be for our pre-K through 5th grade, and the other is MEL Teens, 6th through actually junior college, the first couple of years of college. There's some great resources in there for that. So these portals, imagine if you walked into your library and you went to the reference section or the youth section, the adult fiction section. That's kind of the concept there behind the portals. Here I have a screenshot of mel.org and the landing page that's there. And if you look down here in the middle of the screen, you will see down in here are the portals, and the 2 we're focused on would be the kids and the teens, and mainly today everything that we're going to be accessing can be found in the kids section. I do want to make note there is a books and literacy section, that portal, that I'd like you to check out at some point. There are a lot of great reading resources in there, as well as when we talk about literacy, it's just not pertaining to reading, but also we have a digital literacy link in there. So there's a lot of great material and external web links that you can find related to that. Across the top here with our tabs, we do have a MELCAT tab, which is right here. A lot of times when I ask everybody if they are familiar with MEL, they all say that they are, but then I find out that they're really familiar with our MELCAT, which is an interlibrary loan system across the state, and it's where you can borrow print material. It's an excellent resource, and actually just last year alone, we had over 1 million loans of items that happened here in the state of Michigan. So it's an excellent resource, and we absolutely love having it here in the state. Right next to that, we have the teacher tab, and it's another portal that I was able to build out last year, focused on the resources from a K-12 teacher perspective. I've put in a lot of things in there to help understand what the databases are about, how to use them, and incorporate them into the curriculum. I am going to be working on that over the summer to kind of streamline it and make some upgrades and changes to that. But you're definitely able to find a lot of information in there. You can get to it over here on the left, teachers.mel.org. That's a quick direct link for you. And right next to that, we have our databases tab, and that simply is an A to Z list of those 40+ databases that we offer through MEL. So if you know specifically that you wanted to go to BookFlix or Early World of Learning, you could click there and find it in the A to Z list and click quickly into it. Over here on the left-hand side, I do want to point out that we do have a MEL YouTube channel, and we are working on building that out with videos, many of which are going to be how-to videos, so that you can use those with even students so that they can understand how to use the database, and then you can focus your time on doing research or reading support as opposed to trying to explain how to use the database. So those are some main things that you're going to want off of the page. Also, MEL Minute is an excellent resource for you. That comes out once a week, and it's a very short paragraph or two that highlights a specific resource or an idea that we have here in MEL. So I encourage to sign up for that. It gets emailed to you, like I said, about once a week. So if we click into the kids portal, this is what you will see. Over here on the left, we have Brookie. He is our mascot, and he happens to be a Michigan brook trout. And then this is Read It, his pal, Frog. He talks to the kids as soon as you hit the landing page. Also at the top, I want to point out that there is a parents link on there that you can share with parents, because we do have parents that really want to be involved and helpful for their child, and it's a great resource for them. We focus on 4 different centers you'll see here in the middle of the page. Homework Helpers is where we house all of the databases that are age appropriate, pre-K through 5th grade. So that's what you'll find there in the Homework Helpers. Storytime is an excellent resource. It includes any of our databases that are related to stories, but also there are a lot of web links there to help support reading. So again, if you're looking for additional material, reading material, or if you set up maybe a center in a classroom, the kids could go into Storytime and click out into any of the web links. And one thing that you can be assured of, all the web links that we have that we link to are quality vetted links that you know that the kids are going to go to a quality site. They're not going to be directed someplace that they shouldn't be going to. Again, the games and activities, it's a similar idea. It takes them to some quality websites that they feel like they're playing games, but actually we're supporting those the skills that they need to learn in pre-K through 5th grade. The About Michigan tab gives us multiple links to go out and learn about our great state. I do want to caution teachers that for 3rd grade teachers that are teaching about Michigan, some of the web links in this center are actually at a higher reading level. So it's more of a resource for our teachers or our parents to use and talk about with the kids. So just keep that in mind.
Christine, just a quick question that came in. The Early World of Learning, Jennifer asks, is it appropriate that it asks her to put in her driver's license to log in? Is that supposed to happen?
What is happening is the IP address where you are accessing it from is not bouncing here in Michigan. So if it is on a computer at a school, for example, we can have you contact MEL Databases Help at mcls.org and ask them to register your IP address so that you will not get those screens pop up. In the meantime, the only workaround that you have is to enter either a library card or a driver's license number in on that. A lot of times you'll see that on a smartphone if you try to access on a smartphone because the towers tend to bounce outside of Michigan.
Awesome. What was the name of that website again?
It's actually an email address.
Email, sorry.
And it's MEL, M-E-L, databases, help at mcls.org.
Thanks.
And I can type that on the last slide
I actually
as
just
a
put
resource.
it,
Oh,
I
okay.
just put it in our notes. So
Okay, perfect.
Thank
Perfect. Thank you. So I just wanted to point out, I know we're going to be focusing on early childhood, but just be aware that we have a teens section as well. Again, homework help is where all of the databases will be found. And there's also some additional links in there that will take the user out to a website that can help support some of the homework that the students will encounter. The other big thing that we have is College Bound. It's an excellent, excellent section for students in high school that are considering going to college and the parents, because it helps guide them through deciding what college to go to, what scholarship information might be available. So those types of things are available in there, as well as practice exams for SAT, college entrance, those types of things are in there. So I do want to point that out, that we do have that available. So let's take a look at the databases that we have available for early readers that I'm going to talk about today. In depth, we are going to look at BookFlix, Early World of Learning, and Learning Zone, and this would be great for our pre-K through third grade. Everything focuses on Lexiles through the third grade in this area. Learning Zone is probably only going to be used in maybe kindergarten and first grade though, because it's really building those very early basic skills. So we're going to talk about those. We're going to see some screenshots, and I'm going to show you in depth how to use each one of those. And then for our elementary schools, I am going to talk about these other resources over here on the right-hand side. So let's go ahead and take a look at Scholastic BookFlix. It happens to be our #1 used database here in MEL, and I think that if you have never experienced it and you are working with the early grades, you are absolutely going to love this, and your students will absolutely love this. So what this is really an interactive ebook resource. And what it does is it pairs a fiction and a nonfiction text together, so that students can see both types of writing and then get them able to improve their reading. So the way it's set up is whenever we get onto the landing page, it's broken out by theme. So there's multiple themes in here. These are all themes that would be taught in the elementary. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to show you animals and nature. And this is what it looks like when we click into it. These are our theme books. So you can scroll through and see what book pairs are available. We do have some that have Spanish versions. We have about 70 pairs that are both English and Spanish. So you can toggle back and forth on those. And you can just flip through the books by clicking down here or checking out each of the tabs. So you can see just in Animals and Nature, we have about 47 pages worth. So really, really great information. Now for my example today, I'm going to go ahead and choose The Bear Snores On and A Bear Cub Grows Up, so you can see what every book pair looks like. So the way it's set up is the fiction is always on the left and the nonfiction is on the right. And each of the fiction books are done as a Weston Woods video. And we're going to take a look at what that looks like here in a second. Every single book pair has these features over here on the left, as well as a lesson plan associated with that. And then there's a resources up here. If you click on resources, that's where you can access this search tool, and you'll be able to search for based on those different items. What I have found is most teachers that have been using this and are very, very familiar with BookFlix do not know that this is here. So great to know that is available. So let's take a look at what that looks like. This is a picture of the video. You are able to enlarge the video to full screen. You can play, pause, and stop. When it plays, it puts the words right on the screen and highlights them as the narrator speaks. Then over here on the right is a is our nonfiction book. So for example, for this book pair, we might have the student read about bears first so that they understand why is the bear snoring while everybody else is awake, so that they can understand the hibernation point of it. Within the ebook here, you can have the option to turn the read aloud on or off. And every so often, you will see some yellow highlights. If I hover over that highlight, I will get the definition and then an ear. So if the student can't read, they can click on the ear and it reads to them what that means. And also associated with each book pair, we have these options. The puzzler section is great because it's working on things like sequencing, vocabulary, and then being able to tell the difference between fact and fiction. You're also able to read about each of the authors, and you can click here. It has a click here to learn more. It'll take you out to the website so you can find out more about that author. And again, you can click the ear and it will read aloud to the student. They have a great section for each book pair for exploring the web. So now we can expand our research a little bit more to find out a little bit more about the topic that we're looking at. Here's an example of the lesson plan that goes with this book pair. When you click on lesson plan, you're able to see it on the screen, but you also have the option to download the PDF, as well as take a look at what curriculum correlations are hit with this book pair. So that's really everything with BookFlix. It's very easy to use. I have some friends that actually started using it with their 2-year-old and an iPad, and every single day he asks, can I go to BookFlix? And he just sits there and he probably has watched every single video and read every single book in there. So the kids really, really do like what's available. One recommendation for teachers that I have when you're using this is if you're running short on time, on class time, and you have maybe 10 minutes left until the bell and you don't really want to start something, you don't have a lot of time to start something new, you can use that search feature and search for a running time of less than 10 minutes. So you're able to start and stop and end the video before that bell rings, and it keeps the kids' attention. Our next database that I'm going to talk about is Early World of Learning, and it's one of my favorites. It is from World Book, so it's basically an encyclopedia for very, very youngest explorers here. And it revolves around Truck and Taffy. Truck is a scarecrow and Taffy is a cat. And they have these adventures around the world. And as they read about their adventures, they're learning about common themes that we teach the very young children. So I'm going to break down each of these sections for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Know It section. And this section here with the Know It, I apologize, I am looking for stuff here. Okay, so the Know It section provides a richly visual, interactive encyclopedia that is going to captivate those early learners based on nonfiction topics of interest and importance to them. And here, it's built, you see it's built around the categories that you see here on the screen. We're going to, in particular, take a look at the animal homes. So when I click into animal homes, this is what they will see. They can choose anything from over here and click open, and it will open that up. And then notice down here at the bottom, there's a more section, this more fun. It offers additional material and media that is related to the topic. It's going to aid building that background knowledge that they need, that's going to help support their early development. And then they also have these C images. These images are only available here in the More section. They're not going to find those at other points throughout. And so if we went in to look at the bird's nest, I could click on the play and it will read this for me, or I can read it on my own. And then it is interactive. We do have the question marks here. If I click on the question mark, it will tell me a little bit more about what I'm seeing in the picture. All right, so we have now the reading section. The reading section has actually two parts to it, and one is Trex Travels, and one is Welcome to Reading. Within the Trex Travels section, this offers narrated stories, interactive games, and original videos that teach critical early childhood themes, including numbers, shapes, colors, opposites, and more. This site incorporates curriculum correlations and the Lexile framework for reading so that we can help each child have success. There's educator support material and downloads that I'm going to show you that would correspond with this. There's like little mini lessons that go with this, and I'm going to show you a link to that in an upcoming slide. So when we go into Trex Travels, you see that we are able to choose from the different books. Every book is available in Spanish as well. And again, we have the More Fun section available there. Once I clicked on one of the books, this is what it looks like, and it is a read aloud. You can click the play button, and then they can advance to read each of the pages. The Welcome to Reading section, it provides leveled reading practice that's going to develop and strengthen phonics, vocabulary, phonemic awareness, and comprehension skills. Again, it incorporates the Lexile framework. And the Welcome to Reading is centered around 48 different stories in 4 reading levels. So you'll see over here on the right, there are reading levels. And they just have to click and tap open to get into one of the books. Back to the main components on the main page there. This is my favorite, but my all-time favorite is the classics section. It's offering collections of engaging stories, nursery rhymes, and sing-along songs for more reading and listening practice. What's nice about this is you can download the audio files with each of these, and you're able to put it on your computer or tablet, or even upload to an MP3 player so the kids can always have it with them. I think it's so important that we have access to stuff like this, especially like the nursery rhymes, because we're finding that a lot of the students aren't being exposed to this like they used to be. So it's nice to be able to have this as a place for them to go to. The next of the components there on the main screen, and I'm sorry this is really busy of a screen, but it's the play section. And in the play section, you'll see there are 4 options. Putting the story in order, you'll see that over here. That's an example for that. So they can drag and drop, they can read the story, they can check their answers. We have a concentration game where you have to pick 2 cards and see if they match. Once they've got all the matching, then they get to see a picture from the story. The multiple choice deals with, it's challenging players to answer a series of questions by picking the correct answer from a word bank. So you can see here the word banks down below. And then the sorting is a great section because it's reinforcing the phonemic awareness by asking players to drag and drop pictures into a bucket. This picture here, it's asking them to drop pictures that start with this sound. So it's a great interactive for the students. The next section that we have is the watch section. Early World offers children access to more than 230 videos that correspond with the different themes that we've been seeing throughout this database. And these videos build upon, again, the core background knowledge with real-world examples related to what they're learning and what they're reading about here in Early World of Learning. So you can see I went into animals and I chose the panda video. They're short videos. It's enough to keep their attention and not distract them. for very long. The last of the sections is the print and do section. So you can pick a subject and scroll down and find a PDF. You can download the PDF here, or you can print it out directly from the website. Now, these are worksheets that go along with the books and the themes that they're reading about. So this will help reinforce and support what they're learning. They're great supplements based on mainly the Trex travels. Now I'm going to show you, there is a link, and I have it down here. I apologize, I meant to get rid of this. I'll pull that off of there. But basically what you're going to see in this link, it's an Excel spreadsheet, and you have some mini lessons that you can look at, and then there's also some foldable books. And I wanted you to see what that looks like. These are PDFs. You print them off, and it gives you folding instructions. So now you can print off a mini book for the students to have with them. And this is the link to take you to that spreadsheet. And then further down the spreadsheet, you have those worksheets that we saw in the print and go. Those are accessible just by clicking right in there. And this is an example. They have to connect the balloon to the balloon. So it works on some vocabulary and the different themes. The last thing that I want to point out here is on the main page, there's a For Educators section. And if you click on the educator tools, this will help guide you through how to use early Word of Learning. So if you missed anything today, or you want to go back and remind yourself about each of the sections, there's a lot of great information there for the teachers. So the next of the 3 databases that I'm going over in detail would be Britannica Learning Zone. So we're going to take a look. This is part of a suite of Britannica that we purchased, and this is for the pre-K through actually about 1st or 2nd grade. It does say that you can go to 3rd grade, but I find that some of the material is a little bit too young for 3rd graders. Once they're done and they're old enough, you know, in about the 3rd grade level, they can switch over to Britannica Elementary, and then there's a middle school and a high school level as well. So it's one database that definitely will grow with the kids. This one is going to work on a lot of the basic skills that they need to build. Newton is the dog over here, and he walks them through as they hover over anything. It will talk to them so they can take a look and see what they're doing. These are the concepts that it's going to be working on in these early grades. So we're going to go over each section. So we're looking at the Explore section, and what it does is it gives you a world atlas with multiple flags. You can click a flag. So I think I picked China, and they get to learn about the panda that's over there in China. They could go down into the Amazon area and pick a video that actually they'll be able to hear and see what it's like to be in the rainforest there in the Amazon. So great videos that they're able to learn a little bit more about. And then there's some extra options that show up down here at the bottom of the screen. The next section is the play section. These are interactive games. So they're posed a question and they have to answer. And again, Newton is reading it to them. And then there's some additional options down here to go with that. The read section is centered around, it almost reminds me of a dictionary. If we're going to look at a dictionary, we can choose a letter down here and it'll bring up different vocabulary words that it is a read aloud for them. So it reads it so they can see what is going on, and then they can flip through to get to different words. And this is going to really help build that vocabulary that they need. And the last section is the drawing section. And the importance behind this is the fact that they get to use their mouse and they get to build those mouse skills that they're going to need, especially if they have to do online testing. So it's a great way for them to be creative. They can actually click down here. Let's say they click on the horse will appear here, and they can outline the horse. They could draw their own horse next to it, and then you get to print it out for them. One thing that I like about Learning Zone is that they have it set up that you can differentiate instruction for your class. If you click onto the PDF, this is what you're going to find. excuse me, it will help you set up an account. So a teacher needs to have this account set up in order to be able to differentiate. Then they can go in and create a class list, and they can add in each student into the class. From that, they can select specific student activities for their students. And so later on, when the student goes and logs into Learning Zone in under their name, they're only going to have access to what the teacher deems that they need to work on. So that is a really, really great thing, that you can pick and choose what they can work on. You can favorite it, so it gives you a link that they can get to. And then you can review a report. So if Sally went in and did maybe for homework, or she did a center in the classroom, you can look and see how much time she spent and what was it that she looked at. And you can click save or print that. So great resource for teachers for using that database. The next one that's going to be really important would be the Novelist K8+. And what this database does is it enables you to create book lists or find the next book to read, book titles. A lot of great information in here. You can go in and do an advanced search. You can, oh, it's just amazing. You can even go in and browse, and you can see that you can look at the ages 0 through 8, and these are the types of things that you can browse here in the fiction area. You can click over to nonfiction. What I want to point out to everybody, though, is this quick links up here at the top. There's so much valuable information in here that I really want to share that with you. In the quick links in particular, we're going to take a look at these that are listed here. The first one is Common Core. Once I click into Common Core, I get to choose what grade level that I want to look at. And once I click into it, it's going to give me a list of books. I didn't take that screenshot. I just picked one of the books so you can see what you can find in here. So for Tyrannosaurus Rex, I can get a summary. I get a listing of the standards, but really important is I have the questions that I can ask that are going to hit those standards. Might be something that you want to share with parents too, that they can help if they don't understand what or know what to ask after they read a book. It's a great guide for them, as well as for teachers. It could save a lot of time. Under the curricular connections, again, under the book, under the quick links, you will see a list that looks like this. Now, you're going to see A Passion for Elephants, for example. This is a book. It's going to give you the summary of that book, and when I click into it, you will see a screen very similar to what we just saw with Tyrannosaurus Rex. But in particular, I love The Desperate Librarians. These are articles that are written by librarians, and I'm going to click so that you can see this one is dealing with STEAM and books that go with that. So what she does is she recommends some books that go along with the theme. She reviews them, and then she gives you activity ideas to go with each of those books. So I really highly encourage you to check those out. The grab and go book list is really nice because it looks at character education. So you can see we have honesty, responsibility. If I wanted to look at courage for kindergarten through 2nd grade, this is what it would look like, and it gives me a whole slew. And then if I had scrolled down on my screen, there's a ton of books that are related to this theme. You can copy this permalink to this book list and share that, but I want to caution you that because we are geo-authenticated, they will need to go into Novelist first and then click on the link so that they're able to get back to this list. The last one here is our picture book extenders, and you'll see there is a list. We're going to take a look at The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Again, you're getting a summary and discussion questions with curriculum alignment. If I did a regular search, let's say I had a student that really liked Chamber of Secrets, but didn't know what to read next, and they're very picky in what they read, I can bring up Chamber of Secrets, and then down here at the bottom, I can do a title read-alike, an author read-alike, or a series read-alike. And what it does is it brings up a list of about 9 to 10 books that it recommends that are going to be very similar to that title. You can also click, what I like about this is we can click and see if it's available in Melcat. So you can check your local public library, request it to be held for you if it's there. If it's not there, let's say it's across the state, you can request it and in 3 days it will show up at your library and you borrow it the regular amount of time and return it back to your library, and there's no fee to use that. If the book title is in our ebook collection, you will see that over to the right. And then you can click right into the ebook. So those are the ones that I think are going to be the most important for you, and we're going to take a look now briefly at what else the kids could be using in elementary that they can actually grow into. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Kids InfoBits, and this is a Gale product. Gale created the database for us. They are excellent providers. We have multiple databases from them, and they have specific databases for specific grade levels that grow with the kids again. You can see that they have topic pages here that they can go into, and this is really teaching the kids to be an early researcher, gets them used to seeing what is going to happen. This is the type of content that you're going to find within each of the databases in Gale, so very quality vetted resources to help them do research as opposed to just going out to Google and finding whatever we find. The Gale databases are integrated with Google, so if you are a Google school using Google Classroom or Google Drive, articles can be saved right to Google Drive or sent right out to Google Classroom, so it's a nice feature. I do have over here on the right-hand side some video tutorials of how that works with it. In addition to that, they are also Microsoft integrated. So if it's a Microsoft school, you can save to OneNote and use it with Microsoft Classroom as well. So I have some screenshots there to show you. You can download articles and use it that way. Some other common tools in here that I do want to point out that are really important is we want to make sure that the students don't use the save folder unless they're an advanced researcher. This will save only in the database and not onto the computer. I recommend that everybody actually downloads and they can download right to Google Drive. There is a highlighting I'm going to show you in a second. They can actually highlight and annotate an article and then download it to Google Drive, and it'll save all those annotations and highlights for them. Everything that we have in MEL is cited, so we can even start in kindergarten and say, here's your citation, copy and paste it, so that they don't have to worry about the format of it. They are all updated to hit the 8th edition of MLA. And then you do have other options as well. There is a listen feature that is really cool in the Gale databases. If you click on the listen, it opens this bar up, and this white circle is our settings circle. I can do these types of things in this settings, and in particular is the enhanced text visibility. So as I push play, it's highlighting on the screen as it reads, and it highlights each word, but it also is creating this large text down at the bottom that will highlight as well as it's reading. So it's an excellent resource, whole class resource or individual. Also, there's a download MP3 if you wanted the audio version. There's a translate feature. This one uses a specific machine translate. It is not Google. So what you're going to find in the Gale databases is that the translations are very good. Unlike Google can be really iffy with the translations. Gale uses a really great tool for that. This is just an example of highlighting and annotating in an article. And then when you do a search, so I went and looked at the horses in Kids InfoBits. It's going to show you what content type and how many of each item is there. And each item that shows up are color-coded. And this has to do with the lexile of the article, so it really helps guide what you need to focus on depending on the grade level of your student. I do have a link on one of the resource slides at the end of this slide deck that links to an explanation of those levels for you. This is an example again of I clicked on one of the articles. This is what it looks like. Britannica Elementary, I'm going to try to move quickly because I know we're running short on time and I want to take questions. An excellent resource. I highly recommend it. You have an animal kingdom that you can explore by group or habitat. And then if you click on show more, you'll be able to see a geography explorer, which is an interactive that the kids can do. And they get to drag and drop country names, oceans, where they're at, rivers, etc. Great resource for that. Each of the articles, it has a leveled reading. So at 1, I'm reading at the elementary level, or I could click to 2 and it'll bring me up to the next reading level, which would be about 5th grade. So they could click and it changes the article automatically for them, so it can challenge them. I can double click any word in any article in Britannica and it will pop up the definition, which makes it really nice. And you can see whenever we go into an article, it chunks it out so they get to see the informational text in the different areas. So I can close that and go on to the next area. The teacher tab over here is nice because you can click to see the Lexile as well as the curriculum correlations. And then I can also listen to some articles as well. World Book for Kids is another encyclopedia world book, or an encyclopedia book for the kids to go in and explore. They can explore, or they can do a search. They can click on whatever the picture is here, and this picture changes every time they come back to the home page. In particular, I do want to point out down at the bottom of that page, you have all of these options. There's a whole activities section and a science project section. Parents could maybe learn about this over the summer, that they could do that with the kids at home. Here's an example of an article. When I'm in an article, there's the tools button, and if you open that up, you'll see that you can have the text read aloud as well. Again, there's educator tools just like Early World of Learning that you could go into, and in World Book for Kids, they have a web quest section, which is really nice. And the last database that I want to talk about is the ebook collection. We actually have 2 ebook collections in MEL. One is the basic ebook collection that has about 26,000 titles in it. The ebook K-8 collection is a subset of that, about half of those books. And this is the landing page here at that. And you can see that you can go in and you can browse by category, you can do a search. Whatever you're looking for in there. Kids could go in and do searches as well. This is a screenshot to show you. I went into the kids fiction and nonfiction. There's quite a bit in here. This one caught my eye whenever I screenshot this. Hop Frog Short Vowel Adventures. So some great books that you can use with the kids, but not only for the kids, we have a lot of great information for the teachers. I did a search just based on reading, and a lot of the books that you're seeing are reading intervention or things that you can do to help support reading for the kids. So they're professional development books that are related to that. Also, if you go back, and I'm going to back up here onto this slide, if you go into the education category, that's going to bring up over 500 books that are professional development books for grades K through 8. And then the last few slides that I have here, these are just resource links for you. I already showed you the Excel spreadsheet for Early World. This is that differentiated instruction for Learning Zone, but there's also a guided tour that I included here for you. This is our Britannica school links. We have 2 resources pages that will help you. I do want to point out on our Michigan page under archived webinars, there's an early childhood elementary webinar that they did. Excellent webinar. They did a Women's History Month. It was about a 30-minute webinar, and there is some support material to go with that. And again, I have a guided tour and a user guide for the elementary, middle, and high school portion of Britannica. Most importantly is this slide deck right here. If you're new to Britannica and you haven't used it, take a look at the slide deck and use that with other teachers. If you're a coach, share that out because it will help you set up the account. You need an educator account to be able to access lesson plans and curriculum alignment. I walk you through all that in that slide deck. Now, this is still a work in progress, so I'm going to be adding more slides to it, but this is a Google slide deck link, so as I make changes, you'll be able to access those. So keep an eye on that. And then we have some great videos to help you with Britannica. These are our Gale videos. In particular, these are how-to videos for Kids InfoBits, how to do research and use research tools, and then the Google and Microsoft integration. And then here's that Lexile level explanation there as well. Here are some videos on novelists to help you find different types of books and do different searches that are in there. And then the last slide here, we have different sheets that I think, or links that I think will be really helpful for you. I have an info sheet that talks about Mel Kids, how to get there, what it looks like, and how to access all of the databases. And on the back, it's a 2-page sheet, so you could print it front to back. And the back of the sheet lists all of the databases and an explanation of all the databases that are in there. These are just links here. I did create an elementary science flyer, so it highlights the databases that could be used for teaching science in elementary. I am currently working on a flyer for early childhood as well, and I hope to have that available over the next few weeks. And then there's the literacy portal. This link down here is really important for you as well because it tells you how to access the resources, how to access the geo links. Especially for our youngest users, it's hard for them sometimes to navigate. So what you can do is you can grab, for example, the Bookflix icon and grab the geo link and embed that and put it right on your website that the kids can get direct access. They don't even have to go through Mel for that. So it talks to you about that. It talks to you about ordering promo material such as bookmarks and posters. There's 2 ways. One would be directly from Gale and one would be from the library for the other products. Or other databases, and then video tutorials for the Gale products. Gale databases are in there as well. So I am running a little bit later than I had hoped, but I'm going to go ahead and open this up now for any questions that you have. There's a direct link to the slide deck. Let me know what you think if this helps you. I'm looking at the chat right now.
Yeah. Actually,
Excellent.
I'll just ask 2 quick questions that were in the Q&A. One is, could the coaches share the recording of this webinar with the teachers they work with?
Absolutely. I'm going to post it also on the Mel Teacher site. So please get the word out there. Any of the material, that's the one thing that I'm doing, and I shared with you like the flyers and the slide decks and stuff. I'm putting together specific slide decks for specific databases, and I'm going to post those whenever I redo Mel Teachers. That's all going to be available for you to share out and use however you want to use it.
Terrific. Coaches, enter any questions in the Q&A or in the chat if you like. Chris Martin just asked, do you have one for teens resources?
Absolutely. Right underneath the kids info sheet is the teens info sheet. I also have created, and I didn't put links here, but I created actual booklets for both of them that I use in my trainings with a lot of screenshots in it and a lot of places that they can do an activity, that they could write down passwords if they needed to set up an account. There's only 2 databases that you can set up accounts for, so there's not a lot of those. And just really to get them thinking about, how do I integrate this in my classroom? Because if you're going out there and working with teachers, what I have found is they will say, oh, these are great. I don't know them well enough though, so I'm not necessarily going to use them until I have time to learn it. When you're working with the teachers and you want them to start using it, have them identify units and lessons that they can incorporate right before they leave your training, because otherwise it may take them a while to start using it. So have them think of that from that perspective. Any other questions?
Amy just wanted to add that you can order free bookmarks from Mel, Bookflix, etc. from your website.
Yes, that is on that last slide. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to back this up. right here in this document, order promo material. That's the free bookmarks and posters and stuff like that that you can get. There's no cost to that at all. You can order it. And actually for the Gale stuff, what's really nice is you can go in and you can tweak it and add in your school name or somebody's name or a slogan or a logo or something. You can add those in there as well, and they'll print them for you. So excellent resource for that.
And there was a question earlier about if there's an app for mel.org or only web-based.
We do have some Chrome apps that we just recently released. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to jump out to the web just so that you can see that. It's in the teachers section that will talk you through that. So this is the Mel Teachers page, and it's in the technology resources. So if I click in there and I click on apps, this talks about the apps that are available. These apps here for Mel, kids and teens, plus the rest, those are Chrome apps. So if you are a Chromebook district, your administrator can push these apps out all at one time to all of the Chromebooks. Britannica has both a Chrome and an iOS app. And if we have any schools that are using Canvas for an LMS, Britannica just released an LTI extension, so we can actually incorporate that and embed that right into Canvas. They are working on LTI extensions for Schoology, Moodle, those types of LMSs, and when those become available, I will include those on here as well. So if you want to know how to get to the Chrome apps, you can get that right in here, and it'll take you to the web store.
Christine, we cannot thank you enough. Just the responses that we received in the chat, I think your presentation was very powerful. And I also heard you say several times about all the updates that you're doing.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your dedication to our coaches and just the educators in Michigan for continually making sure that they have free resources available to support their students.
Excellent. One other thing I do want to mention, if you want to keep updated on different things that I am doing, on the Mel Teachers page at any of these pages, there's a keep updated section. If you click on this envelope, it will take you to the page where you can sign up for my Gov Delivery listserv. And as I have any updates related to Mel K-12, I send it out there. So that's an excellent way to keep updated on everything that I have available. And I'm also open to having people email me ideas, like maybe you know of something that you really wish you had time to create that's related to Mel. Send it my way, because I'm sure 100 other teachers would want that too. So a way, if you lost my email, you can just click on Contact K-12 Specialist and it'll email me. So I just want to thank everybody for attending today, and I'm really excited to be able to share all of this information with you. And what you saw today is just such a minute part of what we have in Mel, especially for all of K-12. So if there's any interest in any of the other parts, I'm more than happy to come back and do some more webinars for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Christine.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
And this concludes our webinar, Early Literacy Coaches. I will share this webinar link right in our April document in our monthly meetings folder. And I've taken notes in that as well today. Again, we are so grateful to Lisa Brown and Christine Schneider and you early literacy coaches and supervisors for your leadership getting these fantastic resources into the hands of our colleagues and our kids in Michigan. With that, we will conclude the recording of this webinar, and please do reach out at any time for anything you need further. Thanks, everyone.